Welcome to Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Caitlin Doolittle. Today we're in the Hudson High School with their annual Celebration of Nations, and I'm with celebrity chef himself, Tavel Bristol-Joseph, to talk all things about like his food and his culinary experience. So thank you for taking the time to chat with me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, awesome. For starters, can you just tell me about yourself
Yes,
and the type of food you'll be making today?
yes. So I'm Tavel
Mm-hmm.
Bristol-Joseph. We have about 11 restaurants between in Austin and San Antonio. So we're Emery Rye Hospitality,
Mm-hmm.
working with Global Eats to kind of go to different high schools
Mm-hmm.
across the nation and talk about Caribbean food, Caribbean culture, and introduce these kids to something different other than French fries and pizza.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Just having I think a lot of our storytelling in culture happens through food,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm so honored to partner with them so
Mm-hmm.
that we can kind of carry on that legacy of storytelling of where food come from and how it got here.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to be making some Jamaican jerk chicken. We're going to be making some Puerto Rican stew and Puerto Rican rice.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Yeah. Yeah. And when did you know you wanted to pursue food like as your career? When did you were like, okay, this is my dream and my passion. I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah, I was born in Georgetown, Guyana, South America,
Mm-hmm.
and in high school, your last 2 years, the government set it up because there's only one college in the country, or two colleges. So the government set it up where in high school you learn a trade, so then you can move from high school into the workforce. So my last 2 years, I did home economics,
Oh, okay.
and I wanted to play basketball so bad that I wasn't even taking cooking seriously. I just wanted to play basketball. And because I stayed out and played late, my aunt that I was living with at the time, my punishment was me baking every Saturday for the Sunday school.
Oh,
So
okay.
I would make like cupcakes, I would do pound cakes, we would make cookies.
Yeah.
And after I got to that part in high school where I had to figure out my career path, I chose home economics because I was already baking
Right.
with her. So it just kind of like kept on going, and I just never stopped because I just love sugar. I love sweet.
Yeah. And what does food mean to you, like in your life? Like, what does it
Man,
represent?
food is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Being a restaurateur, food is a means to an end. Um, Being someone that's constantly advocating for food insecurities, nutrition. So food is for me, it's a way to feed the soul. Cultural food is a way to share stories. It's a storytelling tool. It's a way to connect and socialize, sitting around a table and having conversations over a great meal. I think it's so important in our culture, and it's just something that I'm very passionate about. So when we talk about local sourcing, when we talk about food insecurities all across the world, when we talk about making people feel seen, valued, and appreciated, when we talk about sharing story in cultural and how things got to where it is, I'm it's my life.
Yeah, that's and you kind of touched on this already, but how does food build that like cultural, like bridge a divide, like bridge
Yeah.
people together? How does that create those like cultural connections?
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it's one of those things where you think about it. You taste something and you're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. I want to make it at home." And then when you go and you Google it, you're like, "Oh, I didn't realize this dish came from the Germans." And then you're like, "But how did that dish got to the Caribbean?" And then you kind of follow that trace, right? And then to me, that's where the cultural art aspect comes in, because a lot of times we eat things that, oh, it's just available to us, and we don't know where it comes from. So that's one of my missions, is gonna be, hey, we're gonna talk about food. If we say jerk chicken, like, great, this was a combination of the Africans and the native Indians that were in Jamaica that went up into the mountains and they cooked on the ground, and then this beautiful thing was born, like a dish that actually fed a nation. That's, to me, like when we talk about rice and the history and how how it traveled, those things are super excited. So I think that's why it's important for these kids to experience and be able, my presence, to be able to talk about, like, hey, this is why we're doing this.
Yeah, it's like a history lesson. Yeah, the
Yes,
geography,
yes.
everything, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not what you have, is why you have it.
Yeah, yeah. And what advice do you have for like those picky eaters that may be like hesitant to try new like cultural foods or just try new foods in general? Like, what advice do you give to those people?
Yeah, honestly, it's interesting because kids are very, they know what they think they know what they want. I should say that. I was about to say they know what they want. They think they know what they want, right? But what I would say is this: it starts with the people that you trust the most, right? I have twins myself, right? And they're 16 now, and they were very picky eaters. But because I was the one pushing that and challenging them, so I always start with the parent of like, challenge your kid to try something new every day or every week, however you want to do it. And kids love a competition. You're like, if you eat this, I will give you this, and they're like, absolutely. Next thing you know, they love it. Or you can't get desserts until you finish your vegetables. So like, us being stronger parents to helping our kids to try new things, because they're going to say they don't like it, but it's your job to convince them that it's good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to like bringing in like new foods or new recipes back into your home kitchen, like what should people be on the lookout for? Just like up and coming like cookbooks or recipes online, or like
Yeah, yeah,
for that?
absolutely. We are so blessed right now.
Yeah.
This generation, we're so blessed with Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, that we're able to travel. We can stand here and travel to China, right? Just on our phone and see dishes and things of that nature, right? So I think we have so many different outlets, whether that's Google, whether that's buying. There's so many amazing cookbooks out in the market right now. We just have to want to find something, and it's the same thing. Like every day, myself, I challenge myself to learn something new every week. Before that, it was, I want to learn a new dish every week. So I just find different things and challenge myself to learn and grow on it, and eventually you just kind of have this repertoire of knowledge that's sometimes useful and sometimes not.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's practicing that muscle, which is called your brain, to work.
Yeah, yeah, and especially with like techniques themselves, is that it can be kind of hard to learn through the screen, but you just keep
Right,
trying. I guess,
right,
or
right.
is it like that?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Because we're all gonna make mistakes, and some of the most amazing dishes in the world came from mistakes, right? Some of the most delicious food that we've had was a mistake. Somebody was like accidentally fried something, and you're like, oh, this is actually better fried. So cooking to me is like just being fearless, willing to explore, and taste everything. The raw version and the cooked version. Taste everything, because your palate. That's why a lot of times people are like, Chef, how did you come up with that? Because you taste everything. So what happens is your palate becomes like this dictionary, right? Where you'll remember a flavor profile and add it to another flavor profile just off of memory, because you just accustomed to tasting everything. And I'm a geek with this stuff, man. I want to know what a strawberry tastes like fresh. I want to know what a strawberry tastes like a week after it's picked, and I want to know what a strawberry tastes like if it's in the fridge versus sitting on the counter. I geek out on stuff like that. So, and that helps me to build my palate. So I can taste something and I can tell you how long it's been alive, or all those details.
Yeah, and often like when people are starting to cook or learning, it's kind of, oh, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to
Right.
waste all these groceries that I spent
Gotta
money.
be fearless. You gotta be fearless. You gotta be fearless.
Yeah, just go for it.
Just go for it,
Yeah.
man. And honestly, that's what life is about, man. You know, food to me is like the thing that relieves us from the stress and the pressure of real life. Life is harder than tasting or than making a new dish.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. You can't be a perfectionist. No.
exactly.
Yeah, and why should people be open to trying new like different dishes from across the globe? Like, what should be like their why to explore?
Yeah, I think one is educating yourself, right? The most beautiful thing that we have as human beings is compassion, right? We the more you learn about other cultures, is the more understanding and compassionate you are, and it gives you perspective, and also gives you an opportunity to 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 get connected to someone or something. And that's why we are all here, right? We're all here to be, that's why family is important to us. As humans, it's just our natural instinct to want to connect. And because we feel that when we connect, we are more secure. That's that's our natural state. So to me, I think that it's really important for us to learn about other cultures so we can have perspective. So when we see someone doing something, or we see, like, look at these young ladies with their dresses and stuff, if you don't understand the culture, how can you appreciate it? So you do have to take the time to understand a culture. You don't have to be a part of it, but just having the knowledge to understand and appreciate, to me, it makes the world a better place.
Yeah, absolutely. And when people are sharing recipes, it's often a very intimate part of like their
Yes.
family and life and things like that. So, what advice would you give to those people that may want to gatekeep certain things, or what are your thoughts on
Right,
that?
right, right. I think that there is a sensitivity that happens with food, right? And that happens with things that are personal. There is a sensitivity to that, and I will never negate that. There's a protection, because you don't want someone to bastardize something that your grandmother made and that you were so excited about, and then all of a sudden you taste it and you're like, this is not it. What did you do? Why did you put soy sauce in this?
Yeah,
Right? So,
yeah.
like, there is a sensitivity there, and I understand that. Um, but I also understand that there's a difference between authentic and traditional, right? We create our own traditions. Authenticity is what's been before us, right? It's the deeper meaning. So we have the opportunity every day, or every time we cook something, to create something special and turn that into our tradition and share that with our family. But we don't want to challenge what's authentic to, because authentic and culture and place of origin goes hand in hand, and you have to be sensitive to that, because it is something that's deeper than just the thing that you're having. So I love experimenting, but what I would say is I always take the time to learn the authenticity of something first,
Yeah.
and then share. Why cook if we're not here to share
Yeah,
it?
right.
I have zero desire to make a bunch of fancy dishes for myself.
Yeah, right.
Zero desire to do it. I want to share it with as much
Yeah,
people.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and finally, how does food make you smile? Like, in what way does it bring joy to your life?
Oh man, nourishment, right?
Yeah.
Feeding the body, feeding the soul, feeding the mind. That to me is that gives a smile. I've devoted my life to sharing, as a chef, as a restaurateur, as a mentor, as all the things that come with being a leader. Um, my job, I've devoted myself to giving, right? So food gives me the opportunity that I can be having this conversation with you. I would have never had this opportunity if it wasn't for food.
Right.
So it fuels my life and it fuels my soul. So I take food very seriously. A lot of opportunities and doors have opened because of what I do. And then when you get a conversation with me, then you realize that there's more, right?
Yeah.
So it is a vessel to create conversation, and it's a vessel to heal people. And that's what I love about food.
Yeah, yeah, and you'll probably be doing so much healing today and sharing
Yeah,
with your
we're
food.
here for it. We're
Yeah,
here for it.
yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I
Yeah,
really
thank you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Alrighty, this has been Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Caitlin Doolittle.